What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only is Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scotty, what's going on today, buddy?
Oh, I'm still recoiling from the dreams I've had based on the good news yesterday. So it's hard to follow that one up, isn't it?
Yeah, man, I really don't know what else we're going to talk about today. Well, actually, I do, because I got a whole list. But you can always find it over at InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Dude, coming up on today's show, Activision has fired employees. We'll get into that one. We have details on the next PlayStation title to hit the world of PC. And don't expect Microsoft to get into the world of VR anytime soon.
No.
Yeah, we'll talk about what's going on over there. Dude, right now, let's kick it off with Activision has fired more than 20 employees following their harassment allegations. This comes from Dom Petiet over at VG247. It doesn't matter what your rank is, what your job is, said Townsend in the interview with FT. If you're committed some sort of misconduct or you're a leader who has tolerated a culture that is not consistent with our values, we're going to take action. She went on to note that more than 20 people have so far been fired from the company, and more than 20 individuals face other types of discriminatory actions, though none of the employees that have been reprimanded or fired have been named. Dude, I'm not surprised on not getting a name. I'm okay with not getting a name. But it is nice to see that they're taking the actions that are necessary to clean up over there at Activision. I think that's the biggest highlight going forward.
Well, and name and shame is definitely like the nuclear reaction to this. They have to do some sort of recourse. They have to buckle down on this. And the only way, we've talked about it a couple times now, the only way is to root it out and just cut away from what is souring the whole corporate culture. It got worldwide attention. They have to do something to address it.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we're talking about 40 people total. This is a large company. I hope that roots it out.
I wonder if that is enough, though. Like, honestly, dude, it takes one person to mess the entire company up. I've worked in those companies. All it does is one person, right? It's one bad seed, and it tampers everybody's expectations, their mood, their motivation. It just ruins everything. And so far, dude, there are 40 people, right? Not just one. Now, granted, the places I worked at were nowhere near as big as Activision, but having said that, at least they're doing something. Hopefully they're getting rid of the right people and moving forward to get in the right people to replace those individuals and step up the company and make it a great place to work. Dude, you want to be excited going into work. Let's face it, like Activision makes some of the most popular games in the world. So who isn't excited to go and work on a game like that? But when you have an individual who ruins that for you, dude, you're not excited anymore.
No, and we're talking about massive buildings full of technical artists, something that you don't want to shake up.
No, absolutely. But yeah, nice to see that's moving forward. Dude, what else is moving forward is what's going on in the world of PlayStation, because God of War is coming to PC. Dude, today.
Oh, yeah.
I got this press release in my email. Santa Monica Studios thrilled to announce that God of War 2018 will be coming to PC on January 14th, 2022. Since the release of the latest chapter of Kratos' story, 19.5 million copies of God of War for PlayStation 4 have been sold through, and we cannot wait for a whole new group of PC players to experience the game. With the God of War on PC, Santa Monica Studio aims to highlight the exceptional content the team has created and to leverage the powerful hardware that the platform offers to create a uniquely breathtaking and high-performance vision of the game in 4K resolution. Oh, dude, it's going to be like... God of War looks great on PS5. You put it over there with your DSSLs and all this other whatever, ray tracing, this, that, you name it, all the bells and whistles for PC. Man, like Kratos, Atreus, they're going to look incredible. But it also comes with a couple additional content as well. Purchasing God of War on PC will also offer players the following digital content: Death's Val armor sets for Kratos and Atreus, Exile's Guardian shield skin, a couple other shield skin. Basically, it's just shield skins. So you're not getting too much, but you get an armor set and some shield skins.
Oh, well, boy, I really wish they named Atreyu, because that's already a name that's in my head from childhood. I recognize that one, but to see God of War come to PC, I'm personally excited. I haven't been able to secure a PlayStation. It's just not around, first of all, and financially a big step. So I'm looking at my PC this very moment, and I'm so ready to join that library. I'm going to have to put some shooters down in the new year to get onto this one, but I'm still excited.
Dude, rolling into next year, I'm really, really nervous of the lineup because of the amount of content that is coming come January, and then you get into February. Dude, we just announced one delay after another lately, and everybody's bouncing into the world of February. Like, it's going to be, there's no longer, remember, way back, Scott, I'm dating ourselves here, buddy, I'm so sorry. But way back in, when we were younger, gaming, summers would come, and you have, like, nothing to game. Now, dude, there's always something dropping, and there's never a lull, if you know what I mean, right? There's always a highlight to hit that month or that week, or something is going to keep your attention going in this game industry.
And hopefully it's not always just grinding and loot boxes, although it is in some cases. But there's just a huge amount of content that sometimes you can spend a couple weeks on a game, go on to other things, but then you end up being drawn back. You know, how many times has Marvel Avengers dropped a new package?
Yep. And I keep going back, dude. I was just in it the other day. It's one of those, just pick up, play, I smile, I have a good time, and then I bounce onto something for the show. It is just
SpiderMan coming. I mean, that'll be a whole new.
It's yeah. I'm really okay. I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, I'm curious to see how the Spider-Man. Are we gonna get the War of Wakanda treatment, or are we gonna get like a Kate Bishop story where you're in there for a couple hours and you're done? Versus War of Wakanda, dude, we were there for a while, and we have the ability to go back into the War of Wakanda areas and stuff like that and explore and other challenges. Oh man, there's so much happening over there. It's very exciting.
Give me the Enter the Spider-Verse chapter. Oh boy.
Oh, that'd be something else, man. But yeah, let's there you go. I knew, dude, I got this email and I knew you. I'm like, I immediately thought of you, Scott. I'm like, oh, he's been waiting for this. Here it is, God of War. I played it on PS4, PS5. It's incredible. It's still on my backlog of games to finish. I know, it's a shame. I'm getting there.
That's hundreds long.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. But you know, one thing we're not going to get. Well, don't expect to get any Xbox VR, as Microsoft's Phil Spencer says, and an Xbox focuses on software. This comes from Wesley LeBlanc over at Game Informer. Virtual reality is an ever-growing platform that enables people to play games in new ways. Dude, you and I, big components of the world of VR, huge fans, love where it's going, but I still feel like it's kind of that. Remember when video games used to be just your kid in mom and dad's basement? I feel that's where VR is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's come such a long way, but it still seems to be in its infancy. And absolutely, I don't know if that's just because of popularity levels or if it's kind of a paywall issue, but we've been waiting for that to break, kind of a watershed moment where it just sells everywhere. And I was hoping that would come with the Xbox, but
that's not going to happen.
That's not.
No, it brings us experiences we wouldn't be able to experience otherwise, such as playing through Valve's Half-Life Alyx, which is an incredible game, and it gives us new ways to play old classics like Resident Evil 4 VR on Oculus Quest 2. While virtual reality continues to expand in the game space, it's nowhere near as popular as traditional video game console experiences, and it'll likely remain that way for now. That's why Xbox is remaining committed to software rather than hardware, such as virtual reality. This generation, according to the Xbox head, Phil Spencer, quote, "I think that the hardware innovation that's happening is great, and it's an important enabler. But right now, I'm deciding to stay more in the software side of that enablement," Spencer said during the Wall Street Journal Tech live event, as reported by VGC. Quote, I would believe it will scale better in the long run. It's one of those things, right? PlayStation launched their first iteration of VR. They want to dabble in it. They say they're in for the long haul. And they're now working on PlayStation VR 2. We have Oculus. We had Oculus Rift. We have Oculus Rift S. We had Oculus Quest. We have the Quest 2. There's other iterations now. We have HTC. We have the Vive. We have the Index. Dude, there are so many VR units. Now it's almost kind of confusing which way to go in the world of VR, because there's just so many ways to get into VR, but yet all of them come at like different price tags. If you want to get into console gaming, you got the Switch, you got the Xbox, you got PlayStation, right? That's really the three major players. And if you want to dabble in the world of cloud gaming, then you've got what is it, Luna, you got Stadia, and GeForce Now. So you do have other ways to get into gaming as well. And sometimes maybe those platforms might even be easier, because you're not even paying for hardware in that sense. With the PlayStation and Xbox, you're paying for hardware. When you get into the world of VR, Scott, depending on the hardware and your price tag, dude, you can spend anywhere between $400, like I did for the Quest 2, or you get into the index side of things and higher. It's $1,400 to get in the world of VR, plus a PC to back it.
Actually, funny enough, I got this whole PC around an Oculus Rift S, and I had 0 buyer's remorse. I got into that and I loved it, which is why I'm really hoping that we're still a whole huge life cycle to Xbox in this current generation and all. Right. I really hope we'll have something to kind of enable VR, if it is in the form of software. I have an Oculus Rift already. Well, can I plug it in? That seems like it would be a lot easier than developing it in-house.
There were rumors at one point, because the controller is compatible, the Xbox controller is now compatible with the world of Oculus, that we thought there might be a team up between the two, right? Oculus moving and allowing you to somehow tap into the world of Xbox console at that time not being enough horsepower behind the system in order for you to able to do that sort of thing. Well, now with the Quest, dude, it's virtually wireless. It's incredible, and and it looks good, dude. Playing Half-Life Alyx 2 on there, but for that one, because it's through Valve and Steam, I had to be tethered in. Still looks fantastic, but there's other options when it comes into that world that you thought you'd be able to tap in, right, and go somehow with, whether it's an Oculus Link cable, which allows you, for those who don't know, allows you to plug your headset into your PC and play on your console, allows you to get into your Steam games, allows you to get into the Oculus library as well, because not every game is meant for the Quest. Some games are still Oculus Rift and Rift S, so there is that side of it as well. We often thought maybe, dude, we could see a tie-in with Xbox and Oculus, and it doesn't sound like that's happening at all.
No, it's unfortunate. You mentioned Half-Life Alyx, and I keep thinking of, oh man, I have a lot of really good memories from that. I think I took a video where I was having fun with the enemy that I had defeated, and that was so much fun.
Phil went on to say, Scott, we're going to stay as a company right now in the consumer space focused on software. And I think that's a good bet, he said. The Xbox had also alluded to the fact that many VR hardware platforms use Microsoft-developed Windows. So in any way, VR experiences are making their way to the consumers of Microsoft products. Spencer said they talk a lot about partners that are there too. So everything is kind of lined up as that, but it's kind of, we're just waiting, dude. We're waiting. We saw PlayStation's in, right? We know PlayStation's in. Their next headset, this sounds cool. We already talked about that, how it's bringing this haptic feedback into the side of things. At one point, Scott, do you think Microsoft goes, okay, I think this is a viable platform, we should be a part of that as well?
I think it'll happen after PlayStation gets wise to the idea of Game Pass, because they both have competing ideas here. And the haptic feedback in the PlayStation controller is another one that I'm hoping that is subject to some corporate espionage, but there's only a few places to go from here. So I think the VR could be viable in the near future.
I think you see Xbox get into it next generation. I don't think it happens this gen at all. If it does,
that could be very possible.
It would be, see, and I think this is the other side of it too. If it does, it would be at the end of the life cycle of the Xbox Series X and S, which is still another, if we're going on last gen, like that was almost a 10-year window, right?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, like that's a long time to be on one hardware. But maybe moving forward, that's what they do, is they start to, that's when they launch their very first VR headset. Well, kind of like PlayStation did, right? We're going to start to get into this now. People have seemed to figure out the tech. A lot of people aren't getting that motion sickness that they experienced right away when they first launched into the world of VR versus, PSVR 1 versus PSVR 2, Oculus Quest 2. So you're starting to see more iteration and advancements in technology that allows people to get into this at a cheaper price and not get all that motion sickness heavy that we feel with a lot of the VR games. And that's starting to get better as technology advances, because it gets rid of that scaling, the blurry, the this, that, and the other. The biggest disconnect for me, Scott, always in the world of VR, is how do you traverse that landscape? Sometimes when you walk in a game, your whole body gets this like move kind of sensation, right? And it's like, okay, I'm still standing still, but my character is moving, and it really messes with your brain. That
I really like the thumbstick, because that it does give you that kind of feeling. But I'm so used to the control on the left thumb for every game I've ever played, so that's used to me. But I don't like this.
It
just doesn't work for me.
I can't remember what game it was. It was so in order to do that. Oh, you know what it was?
The Battle Royale one.
There's a couple, because of PlayStation VR. You don't have any analog sticks, right? You just have thumb buttons. So you push the buttons down, and then you kind of do your running man spot, and then that's how you traverse forward. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm glad they're getting analog sticks for the PlayStation VR too.
Yeah, that's a good innovation in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And Scott, let's looks like we're gonna have to wait for something else too. We're gonna look like we're gonna be waiting for the next Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher 3, as they won't arrive on PS5 or the Xbox Series X and S until next year. That's right. This comes from Stephanie Nuneli. I gotta get her on here. We'll have to ask her. This comes from VG247. CD Projekt Red has announced it will not release the PS5 or the Xbox Series X and S versions of Cyberpunk 2077 or The Witcher 3 this year. Speaking on Twitter, the firm stated both games are being delayed based on recommendations supplied by the teams supervising development. Due to said recommendations, you can expect both games to arrive next year. Cyberpunk 2077 will be released sometime during the first quarter, while The Witcher 3 will arrive at some point in the second quarter of 2022. The delay shouldn't come as much of a surprise, considering the studio stated back in September it couldn't promise a 2021 release for either title. Dude, that's a little disappointing. I kind of thought we'd see The Witcher 3 remastered this year, which... okay, second quarter, which is good, because now we're getting out of that February landscape. I don't want to be anything else in that February landscape. Dude, we're gonna have to make a list. I think for tomorrow's show, we're gonna run down the games coming out for next year. That's what we're going to do, because there's a lot of content that we've seen delayed, and everybody's moving over to that January, February window. That landscape is getting full already, man.
It's going to get packed up. Yeah, it already is so competitive up until the new year. But what's going to peel you away from Horizon? That's going to be the question, really.
Nothing's going to peel me away from that one.
Well, personally, I kind of just wish Cyberpunk had waited till now to release in general. It was obvious that needed more time in the oven, and hopefully this gives it the time, really, to just hit the mark it was supposed to.
Well, I think they had to release because of investors. I think that's the biggest stumbling.
That's likely.
Right? And you got to meet numbers, unfortunately. It's just a matter of the business. And it really hurts when it comes to the world of the fans, because we jump in as consumers and expectations are set high because we come off of the Witcher franchise, right? Which has just been a staple all last generation of how good that game is. And then you get free content, and then you get this, and then you get that. And granted, there was some kind of, hurdles along the way, but nothing like Cyberpunk whatsoever. Right? No. Like, this was a whole other level. Now, granted, this kind of took them in a bit of a different direction than The Witcher, something that they're already accustomed to in that world that they're building, but they're always iterating to move the game forward. But getting into Cyberpunk, dude, that was just, what a mess. A mess to the point where PlayStation actually took it off the stores.
Yeah, that was unprecedented at the time. And absolutely. It made the team at BioWare who made Andromeda rather, it kind of made them feel proud, I think, because oh boy, did that just add a new low to how a game can release.
Absolutely. We got a quote here. It said the target is to release next-gen versions of Cyberpunk 2077 later this year. Noted company SVP Michael Nowinski. At this time. Quote, at the same time, keeping in mind that lessons we have learned during the past year and taking into account that this project still remains in development, we can't say with full certainty that the production schedule will not change. Hence the reason why we just saw the delay, as they took to Twitter and announced the further delay. With The Witcher 3, the situation is slightly different in the way that this is being tackled by the external team mainly, which is Saber Interactive, the company that we have worked with before on Switch. Yeah, so they did the Switch port, for those who aren't caught up on Saber Interactive, and also the updates in the past. As with Cyberpunk 2077, our goal is to release that game still in late 2021. However, similarly, the development process ongoing, we cannot be absolutely dead certain that the release schedule will not change. Once again, we saw it now delayed till 2022. No official date, just sometime next year, Scott. At that point, dude, I think that's the best move moving forward for CD Projekt Red, is just leave it alone. Get it to the state where you feel that we have a great game here, that when we bring it to next gen consoles, we should be getting an upgrade for free, right? Like, I played it on my Xbox Series X, and I know people who played on Xbox One. I know people who played on PS4, and
yeah, you should get an I'm sorry copy of it, which is just the free upgrade, but it's finally ready to be seen.
Well, I think that's about it, right? We should be moving. But dude, I don't even want to go back. I finished the game. I have no reason now to go back to it after getting through the hurdles that I had to battle through to finish the game in the first place.
So it kept me away until this release. I'm waiting for the new upgrade, to finally them to iron out the kinks, and because I don't want to play it where it's so bad that it's good.
Yeah, no, I get that, absolutely. Scott, why don't you take the next one, dude?
All right, we have some unfortunate news in the world of Dragon Ball. This is where I would add a joke, but I'm not going to. The English language Frieza actor, he's actually known for doing many other characters, but most notably Frieza. His name is Chris Ayres, and he has passed away at the age of 56. Now, this is highlighted in an article by Joe Screbbles over at IGN, but it goes on to explain that Ayres was in voice acting for many decades with this anime series, and he was best known for Frieza. He replaced the original English language actor, Linda Young, and provided Frieza's voice for Dragon Ball Z Kai, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and many more. In 2018, he required a double lung transplant and stepped down from the role, but he did come back for the role in Dragon Ball Super Broly. So it's great to hear that he did have some sort of kind of upswing and came back to the job, but it was unfortunately short-lived. It is said that he passed peacefully, surrounded by family, and there has been no cause of death, but it's undoubtedly fortunate.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a loss, and our hearts go out to the family and friends related to him. So that's going to be the closest to the end of our show. Scott, why don't we get into the last little bit of it, though? What game announcements do we have for releases for today?
We have Echo Generation. That's coming to the Xbox One, the Series X and S, and PC. We call it the Microsoft family from now on. We also have the Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes, and that is on everything Microsoft, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5.
Satellite sweeps of the war zone have uncovered what appears to be an underground storage facility. But I strongly suspect it's where chemical weapons are hidden, so we need to move fast.
Ready to go dark. To descend into the unknown alone is extremely brave.
Yep, that's not bad. And PC, dude, no Stadia though. Rest in peace. Stadia.
No Stadia there.
That's too bad, dude. I wonder how Stadia is doing. Like, there's a lot of games that I feel should be on that platform that they just missed so far. I'd like to see them step it up a little bit and keep growing that platform, because I'm a big fan. We all know I'm a huge fan of that whole Stadia. So we'll see what happens. A good friend John Scar is as well. But dude, it's been quite a show, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. This is going to be it for ITG Daily. You can follow us over at InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. And of course, follow us over on Twitter, the official ITG. We could always use a little bit of support. Show us some love. Hit us up on YouTube as well. We got some people looking for some numbers over there. So anything you can help us out with, that'd be always appreciated. Of course, you can follow me at the Artistic Gamer 28, and then you can follow Scott at Savage Until tomorrow, everybody, we'll see you inside the game.